work on the Germans is throw a little artillery their way so they don't take back these trenches, which I took from them. Boy, there's a lot of them. Let's try and hold out.
Never in history had a single shot so changed the fate of a continent. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and his wife Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg, are assassinated on a visit to Sarajevo, sparking a conflict that would engulf the world. One by one, the dominoes fall. The great empires, desperate for influence, are eager to tip the balance of power in their favor. Demanding retribution, Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia, provoking Russia and Germany to stand on opposing sides. As war reaches France and Belgium, Britain honors its treaties and musters its forces. Europe is now at war. Countless thousands of professional and reservist soldiers would march toward their fate onto the Franco-Belgian border. It would be a conflict like none had seen before. Technology would change the landscape of war and the scale of violence in such a way as to usher in a new world. Within 4 months, gone were the cavalry charges and battle lines of old, now dominated by the thunder shock of artillery and the blistering hail of machine gun fire. This new reality would force entire armies to dig deep into the dirt and fortify their position with a line of trenches. The measure of victory now to be drawn in inches. Thus the Western Front was established. From the fields of Flanders to the borders of Switzerland, the great nations would make their stand. The fate of millions was now in the hands of a few.
This is the Great War Western Front, an RTS strategy game with turn-based style theater commander, and then RTS style field commander, where you get to battle and command your troops and build trenches and send in artillery and have your boys go over the top. There are 4 game modes available. One, we have campaign, historical battle, skirmish, and multiplayer. Today we're going to get into a little campaign. Here's the theater commander map where you can oversee your battle lines between France and Germany. I am playing as the Allied nations, and today we're going to go attack from Ypres to Ghent. I have 5 corps attacking 3 corps. Let's see how this battle goes. First thing I want to do is observe the battlefield and see where all the capture points and my points are. There's Alpha, one of my points that I have to hold from enemy counterattacks. And then we have Bravo. Okay, no trenches yet. Looks like I have to build some trenches here. And then we got Charlie. Got a few trenches already in place. We got Yankee for the enemy. So I get a balloon up, I won't be able to observe. We got Zulu also for the enemy. And the Germans also have X-ray. So until we get a balloon up, there's our headquarter dugout, and there's my dugout. Okay, so let's see where we're going to build some trenches and make sure we come up with some decent defensive positions. We are on the attack today, so I don't want to concentrate too much on trenches on my end, but I want them strong enough where we can defend from an enemy counterstrike just in case our offensive attacks fail. Alright, so we have a zone here which is Dead Man's Land, which you can see on the mini map up in the right hand corner, which is grayed out. So let's put a trench here. Let's see. Nope. And here I want to separate my trenches where if they put suppressive fire, it doesn't suppress both trenches. I want to make sure my trenches are far enough away where suppression fire doesn't suppress all of my trenches, and that my men... Okay, so let's go ahead. Now our trenches are set up. Let's go ahead and start putting units in. We're going to put the Belgians in the middle to protect Bravo. I'll keep them there just to keep things coordinated on the battlefield and keep my units separated. Here on the right, I have my trenches set up. I'm going to put the French infantry. I have a forward positioning trench, which I'm hoping will stop any enemy counterattack and slow them down, while these 2 trenches here can go ahead and have a firing position on that forward trench. Then I'm going to have a rear trench here closer to the Alpha objective to be a last defense. We'll go over here to the left and on Charlie, and we'll go ahead and put the Canadians. So the Canadians, Belgians, and the French.
Reinforcements
So I'm going
reporting.
to put the Canadians here. I have 2
Reinforcements
forward
ready.
trenches with the communication trench.
We have arrived.
Communication trenches are nice to have in place so your troopers do not have to get out of their trenches to go back and forth to reinforce another trench. But also if the enemy overtakes your trench, they also can use those communication trenches to overtake and overwhelm your trench with overwhelming companies of attack. Basically, each trench can hold 450 troopers. That's 2 companies per trench. 4 companies make a battalion. So gonna probably have a whole division here on the board when we play. You can only get up to 30 companies at a time. Basically, that's 3 divisions. So I'm gonna place heavy artillery. See where I want to place it. And on the mini-map, you can see the line of fire and the range of that artillery. As you can see, I can cover from this position in the center on Bravo all the objectives of the Central Powers, the Germans. So I'm going to put 2 heavy, and then I'm going to do 2 light artillery. And we got a decent amount of supply for suppressive fire for the attack, and that should give us enough in the reserves also. So let's go ahead and place our light artillery. I think right up here on this hill. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, now we got all of our artillery in place. Let's take another overview and see if we need to put more troops in our location. And I want to see, let me see, the Canadians will be on the left here, just in case there's a counterattack. I'm not going to move these Canadians yet, because I'm thinking about attacking Yankee and X-Ray for today's assault. So let's go ahead and put some manpower in these trenches. Like I said, it's 450 units. Each company is derived of 225 soldiers per company in this game. So let's just overview and take a look, make sure our trenches are full. It is cheaper to put all your troopers in during the setup. They will double when the game begins, you begin the battle. They basically will double their amount and cost to you afterwards. So it's always cheaper. So let's put this observation balloon in a decent location where I can observe at least X-Ray and Yankee. We'll put 2 forward. I don't have to worry about airplanes at the moment, biplanes from the enemy, where it's early 1915 of the war. So we won't have to worry too much about any aircraft taking out our observation balloons. This looks like a good location. Alright, I think we're all set up and ready to go. Let's double check here. I don't think I want any machine guns at the moment. We're attacking. So I don't think I'm going to need any HMGs either. We'll just go 1 observation balloon should be enough. Now let's double check our lines. Make sure we're satisfied with our defense. But we're on the offensive. We're just checking just in case there's a counterattack by the Central Powers on our locations. Looks like I'm pretty well satisfied with what I have set up here. French on the right, Belgians in the middle. So I think I'm pretty well satisfied. Just doing another scan over top of my units. Alright, I don't know. Maybe I will put an HMG right here on this hill just in case there's a counterattack and they can defend. But you'll lose these pretty quickly if you put them on your forward fighting trenches because of suppressive fire and heavy artillery. Typically I like to put my HMGs and have a good with the forward positioning trenches in the firing line. That way if any infantry do take that and they go to take the secondary trenches after the forward trenches, we'll be able to mow them down with some HMGs. But they do cost 30 supply each to position. Alright, I think we might be okay. As you can see here in no man's land, if you want to position something, it will go red. That lets you know you are in no man's land and you cannot position anything in that area. That's basically neutral territory. I still haven't decided what I want to do, if I want to have an HMG here or not, if it's necessary. Yeah, I think we're good. Alright, I think our setup's pretty good. Double check Alpha here. Do I need another French company? Yeah, let's go ahead and put some French companies in these remaining trenches before we start our attack. See some Belgian troopers also. Alright, now we're ready for our attack. Let's go ahead and up our observation balloon and see what we can see in the enemy's territory. Alright, we're going up here to Yankee. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could basically have a whole battalion and 2 companies. Same here, a battalion and 2 companies. Oh, looks like the Germans are already coming out of their trenches. They don't have a balloon up, so it looks like they're gonna try to prod our trenches to see what amount of forces we have in place. Go ahead and send some artillery their way, suppress them so they can't fire, and let our boys take care of them from the trenches. Yeah, you gotta love that artillery. Yep, looks like that wasn't very effective. They're just prodding my lines, or probing my lines, I should say. So Yankee, we might attack Yankee at a later time with the Belgian forces, but I more want to concentrate on the early battle on X-Ray. Send the French up to take X-Ray objective, and then we can hold that flank. So let's go ahead and start some suppressive fire on their trenches. We got an HMG there. I want to take that out before I send my boys forward. So we're going to send some of that artillery shells their way. We got plenty of supply. I got about 300 supply at the moment. Let's go ahead and suppress them. As you can tell on the markers with the flags of the enemy, you have a green mark line and a white line, and you have the flag. The green line is the unit's company's health, and underneath the white line, as that decreases, that is their morale. Morale is important whether or not they're going to fight in the trench when they see an overwhelming force, or if they're going to get out of the trench and surrender. So we want to decrease both the morale and the health of each company in those trenches. We want to suppress those fronts, weaken them a little bit so we can move forward with our French forces and overwhelm X-Ray. Alright, send in some more artillery onto that HMG, the heavy machine gun position, and on these trenches. The trenches are close enough where if I send suppressive fireflight artillery here, it will suppress both set of trenches because they have them close enough. So that is a key factor in this game. If you have your trenches too close together, you'll be suppressed as the enemy charges. You won't be able to fire upon the enemy when they charge you, and that's what I'm hoping here. Basically what I'm doing is I'm taking chunks out of their units in the trenches before I go ahead and attack with the French. Well, you gotta love the sound of the artillery in this game. So this is a living battlefield, a persistent battlefield, so if you come back and fight on this battlefield again, your trenches will be remaining, and the craters from the artillery will also be there. Any destruction of the battlefield will remain, and any more destruction that persists on the battlefield. So that's the one nice thing. It's a living world, living battlefield, basically. A persistent battlefield. Send more artillery here. Take out this HMG nest again. Some light artillery. That should do the job. Alright, looks like these forward trenches have lost a lot of health and morale. HMG is out. Been taken out, so we're good. So let's go ahead and see if we want to move some of these French units up. Maybe a company, a battalion. That's 4 companies and 2 companies. So we're just going to call that a battalion, basically. Use a battalion force, equal force to go up. I'm going to keep that forward position, French position there, with those 2 companies in that forward trench to hold just in case there's a counterattack. Oh, looks like the Germans are coming out to probe my lines. This might not be successful. Let's try to get our troopers back into their trenches. I do find that sometimes the mouse doesn't always click correctly in this game. I hope that is maybe a bug. I've been experiencing that somewhat since I've been playing this game for about 8 hours so far, since it came out on March 30th. Makers of Frontier Developers and Petroglyph, makers of Command & Conquer, are the makers of this game. Okay, so boys, let's get back in your trenches real quick. You'll die if you're not in. inside those trenches. Okay, the Germans are probing my lines. Looks like they're coming over to the Belgians. Let's go ahead and attack. Let's have our rifle. Do not. What are they? They're getting out of the trench. That's not what I wanted. I basically wanted them to concentrate fire by right-clicking onto the enemy. But get back in the trenches, boys. Alright, so that was a failed probe. They lost one company. Let's go ahead and get some artillery on their position. So we can demolish this forward trench of the enemy, the Central Powers. We'll go ahead and bombard them. Take away some of their morale and company health. Looks like it's doing a good job. Okay, looks like they got some reserves coming in, so they're already hitting their reserve supply. Let's go ahead and suppress them, let them know we need business, take some morale and health out of that new fresh company coming into the battlefield. It looks like we're depleting their strength of artillery. Like I said, we have plenty of supply. 230 supply left, which should be decent for artillery and if we need to point any reserves. Okay, let's go back down here and get our companies ready. We're going to have the French. Like I said, I'm going to send about 6 companies into battle. Basically a battalion. Move up here to this position to stay out of the enemy's firing range. Oh, they're sending another company reinforced, so they're pulling into their reserves. Let's get some suppressive fire because they're probably going with that forward trench. Alright, back here. Let's put some suppressive fire on this back trench, weaken that trench and the morale and company strength before I attack. The important thing in this game, in the Great War, Western Front, is learning World War I strategy, which is a lot of artillery and suppressing the enemy. If you don't want heavy casualties on your infantry, you can just send in infantry, but you're going to lose a lot of companies and pull in your supply and reserves. So if I have a decent amount of supply, I am going to use a lot of artillery before sending my boys into their trenches. Alright, let's get them over here and get them organized. Alright, I think we have sufficient force with the suppression of artillery to go ahead and take our position. The enemy's position. Take X-ray. Looks like they're beaten up pretty good. Let's observe the battlefield, make sure no one's moving from Yankee. Looks like we're secure there. Pretty strong in the center with the Belgian forces. I think we're okay from safe from any counterattacks. So let's get ready to move. Take one more sweep. No enemies are coming to my positions or attacking my trenches. Alright, I want to maybe fill these back trenches with some French infantry before I move on with my attack. I think we'll be okay. So let's go ahead and move some of these units forward then. Alright, let's go ahead and move them forward. Get a little closer. They're not too far away when we start our artillery suppression of the enemy trenches. They can get there in just the nick of time while the enemy suppress and overwhelm their trenches. That is my hope for this attack. It was early 1915 in the war. Ypres, attacking from Ypres to Ghent. Alright, start our suppression on the enemy positions. That forward trench is still a little strong. So we diminish some of their morale. Alright, let's get these units ready for an attack. We're going to go 5 companies for the first attack, keep 1 company in reserve. Yeah, these 3 companies here will attack here to the left on this front trench where we're suppressing. And I'll have these other two companies attack the trench on the right that has one enemy company. So that should be pretty easy for them to take. Here we go. Start suppressing these back trenches with heavy artillery so they don't move forward and diminish their quantity and numbers. Here we go, boys. Let's go. Let's pause a little bit. Go ahead and get our artillery set. And hit play. Charge! Sacré bleu! Oui, oui. It's enough French for me. It's about as much as I know. Alright, looks like they're taking the trenches. We'll get some hand-to-hand combat here soon. Boys are in the trenches, so now it's all up to them. Alright, we got the... looks like we're going to be taking these trenches. Send this other company in this front forward trench, and let's put some suppressive fire on the enemy so they don't move or fire upon us. Right here looks good. Come on, come on. There we go, right in the center. Alright. As you can see, the enemy wants to start moving down around to retake their trenches. Doing some of that suppressive fire diminishes their numbers. Send them over the top again. Take this other trench from the enemy. And we can send them more artillery. Yep, they're retreating back. Alright, so we have 3 companies remaining in our enemy's trenches. It looks like we are stronger than them with our manpower. Coming around for a hand-to-hand combat fight. We have 2 companies of trench versus 1 company who's already weakened with morale and strength. As we suppress this other trench. Another company, enemy company moving around through the communication trenches. And we should be able to overtake them easily. Defeat them. Counterattack. Alright, let's go and get some reserve companies up here. It looks like we have this. Get some strength and numbers with some French infantry, just in case the enemy decides to counter-attack this position and try to take it back from us. So let's get some reserve units up in these positions. Send these boys over the top. Let me see. Let's send these guys over. This company's a little stronger, and let's attack the Germans. A little hand-to-hand combat. We should be able to overtake them rather quickly. And morale is gone and they surrendered. Okay. That was successful. So let's attack on X-ray. So let's go ahead and reinforce our forward positions. Let's move this company up that we had back in reserve. Almost forgot about them. And let's go ahead and fill these trenches with some French troops. Alright, they're coming on the side of the map. If you look on the side of the map, you'll see X marks, cross marks. That's where your reserves will come in from. Now that I'm capturing this point, I should have reserve troops come in right over to the side right of the map, closer to this position, so it doesn't take as long to reinforce. So let's get these French troops in inside these trenches. As you can see, we are taking X-ray. It is turning blue from red to blue. We should be able to hold out. At least want 2 battalions. That's 4 companies each, so it looks like I'll have that. That should be a strong enough strength to hold these trenches. We are very close to their dugout, their headquarters, which is up in the left here. So they might counterattack from that position. Just want to solid up our forward position here. Come on, guys, get in the trenches. Send more troopers from our reserves. Costing a little more. That's okay. We do not want to lose this position. As you can see, the troopers are coming in from the right now that we have X-ray. So they're a lot closer to reinforce this position if we're under a counterattack, which would be advantageous to us. Alright, so here's their headquarters dugout. Right now I can only observe 2 companies. And I might want to put some troopers back here, but let's take a look again. I think we're okay. They would have to take X-ray to even think about coming over to Alpha. So I think we're pretty safe. Alright, this looks like a weaker unit. I want to swap them with this other French company that has more strength. So let's just swap these trenches. Put them back in the reserve, what I would call a reserve trench. Right, just in case situation. Alright, let's go over here and look again at Yankee. See what they have going on. And here's their headquarters with the star. We only observe 2 companies at the moment, but you know they probably have more than that in there. They probably have a whole battalion. So let's put some fire on them to weaken, just in case they decide to charge us. I love the sound of the artillery in this game. Hoorah! Artillery! Alright, so we got the Belgian forces down here at the center of Bravo, and then there's Zulu up here. I don't think we're even going to get near Zulu today. The timer's counting down. So, don't look like the Canadians are going to see much action unless there's a counterattack. Alright. Got Yankee. Looks like we got a whole battalion there. Got 5 companies altogether. 450 enemy soldiers per trench. So let's go ahead and put some heavy artillery on their trench lines. Some suppressive fire. Do the same thing we did at X-ray to Yankee before we attack. Well, looks like they're running scared. Looks like their rear trenches are moving out and repositioning. It looks like they're going up back to their headquarters because they want to probably reinforce that, or they're going to do a counterattack from this position. One of the two. Oh, looks like we already have Germans trying to counterattack X-ray. Alright, they're done for. All taken out. Good job, boys. Good job. Alright, so that only leaves a battalion left in Yankee. So that's going to be easy enough to take. So let's put some more artillery there. Try to keep our casualties low. Yeah, looks like all these... Looks like they're sending a whole battalion up to the headquarters. Some more artillery on Yankee. Yep, that's doing a job on their numbers and morale. Alright, the enemy is going back to their dugout, to their headquarters. I think they're, yeah, I think this is going to be a counter-strike. They're going to counterattack and try to retake X-ray. Let's get some artillery on their positions. Try to weaken their first wave. Another set of artillery, trying to predict when they're going to run into it. Yep. Okay, let's go back here, take a look. Okay, we're good back there. Here they come. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 companies coming across the battlefield. That's 2 battalions at least. They are sending a huge force across. We have no HMGs, but we can at least put some artillery on them. Suppress them as our boys have a 9-degree firing in the trenches and taking, hopefully dwindling down the numbers. This looks like we are doing successfully. To help us some artillery. We still got some decent supply, 175 left, so we still got some decent supply. Not enough for another major attack, maybe. But we'll see if we can defend this. Alright, they're getting in our trenches. I don't think their advanced companies are looking pretty weak. They're going to go down pretty easy. They have another wave coming in, another company too far back to be effective. They'll just be taken out with rifle fire. With some artillery there. Well, at least they got in our trenches, but not strong enough. Looks like we held out. Whew, I wasn't sure. That looked like a lot of ants crawling across the battlefield. Alright. Central powers have surrendered. We have held with minimal casualties. Alright, looks like Yankee is going to be ready for an attack. Taking another glance up here. I think we're already at X-ray. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay there. I don't think they'll try another attack. But let's send a company up here just to observe what their strength may be. My balloon, observation balloon, cannot reach this area except for the one front trench. So let's send a company up here to prod. Oh, looks like they're sending a company over. Let's go ahead and suppress them with some artillery. And let's move this company forward. See if we can sacrifice this company, at least get some eyes on their trenches. Alright, there's one company there. 3 companies, at least. Let's halt them and have them go back. Some artillery here to weaken, just in case we decide to get too aggressive and want to take their headquarters. Alright, that's all set up. Let's have them go back, let's hit play, and continue the battle. Still have a decent amount of supply left, 130. Timer is running out. We do not have much time. So, if I want to take the center objective, I got to get on it. I think we're okay here. They're pretty weak. I don't expect another counterattack to X-ray. I think we got that locked down pretty well. Yeah, I think so. Move our companies around. Stronger companies to the front of the line. Weaker companies back to the secondary trenches. Just in case they send in some fresh troops for counterattack. Alright, let's go back over to Yankee. Alright, Canadian boys, looks like you're not going to see much action. Let's see what we can do with our Belgian troops. Gonna send in a battalion with 1 company. That should be sufficient enough to overtake those trenches. I got full strength, but of course I have to go through the open. And then we'll get some suppressive fire onto the Yankee trenches. Alright, let's move them up. Get suppressive fire on those trenches. Here they go. Let's go, boys. Artillery's doing a good job. Alright, forward. Get in those trenches. There we go. Redirect. Redirect. Here we go. Yeah, their strength is weak. This should be rather easy for us to take. We only have a few seconds left. Less than a minute. So we won't get a major victory. We should get a victory, of course. Probably a major victory. Or just a victory. So we're going to only be taking 2 objectives. And it looks like we're going to be successful. Good job, boys. Good job. So it looks like they pulled out 3/4 of their force. Pull back to headquarters for a counterattack. Try to take X-ray. Move these boys up to the trenches. Get some forward fighting positions. But I don't think there's time left for the enemy. So I think this will be a victory. Definitely a victory. I think we had minimal losses. Kind of curious to see how many losses the Central Powers had on their side. This will definitely take a dent out of them. And hopefully we can move on Ghent. Take away some stars in a later date, but this is just chewing away their numbers and their supply. If we had enough time, I could take that headquarters. What the hell, let's send some troopers. We only have a few seconds left. And we got 97 supply. Come on, boys. In that trench for one last hurrah. Alright, that was it. A ceasefire. I'll take it. See what our battle report is for Ghent. They lost 7,000 some troops. We only lost 1,079. Cost them 1,024 in currency. It only cost us 137 in currency. I would say we'll take this major victory. I think I'm successful. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'm Sergeant Zig-Zag. Go and hit that like button if you enjoyed this strategic and RTS gameplay of the Great War Western Front. Right here we can do a individual company review on their numbers. And on the left, you can see the map and the time of what occurred that day on the battlefield. You can check out Allies and Central Powers. See how many actual full companies had left? 4. So we had more time. We could have overwhelmed the battlefield and had a sweep. Well, I hope you enjoyed the content. Like I said, I'm Sergeant Zig-Zag. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe my channel. I do World War II and World War I gameplay. So check out the channel for all that content. And also, if you want to see more of this new RTS, which came out on March 30th, of the Great War Western Front, go ahead and comment down below. I've been playing a lot of this game. Like I said, the historic battles are fun. Oh, this is good. We got 13 will of power. They have minus 14 will of power. I'm sorry, national will. So we got plus 13 national will. They got minus 14 national will. I'll take it. So, until the next, I'll have some more of these posted. Let me know, like I said, down in the comments, if you would enjoy seeing more of this RTS World War I gameplay. Available now on PC. Sergeant Zig-Zag, out.